Vacation controversies, accusations now surfacing about Airbnb, the popular home sharing site where many hosts are being called out by users for rejecting them based on the color of their skin. So who's to blame for inequality in the sharing economy? We welcome ABC's Sunny Hostin to our broadcast. She has our story tonight.
Feel at home anywhere.
It's the room and home sharing site whose slogan is belong anywhere. But today, some users are feeling anything but welcome.
Being denied because of the way I look, it sucks.
For 23-year-old Curtina Crittenden, securing a place for a girlfriend getaway in Miami seemed nearly impossible.
Every single message that I got had the worst excuses in the world as to why they weren't accepting me.
Curtina believes she was repeatedly denied by hosts because of the color of her skin. So when she tweaked her profile picture, she says her suspicions were confirmed.
So I changed my name to Tina, and then I put up a photo of a cityscape in Chicago. Once that happened, I never had any issues booking any place on Airbnb.
Curtina took her frustration to Twitter, igniting a social movement under the hashtag AirbnbWhileBlack, and says she soon realized hundreds of people had similar stories. Some users claiming to wear their Army uniform just hoping to avoid rejection. Others commissioning their friends to book places for them.
On a service like Airbnb, where you're not necessarily automatically matched, the person has some discretion about accepting you or rejecting you, it invites the kind of discrimination that we've seen for a long time in accommodations.
And just this week, an Airbnb host in North Carolina blatantly rejecting a black user with a racist rant of messages, dropping the N-word and adding, "This is the South, darling." Airbnb's CEO tweeting yesterday, "The incident in North Carolina was disturbing and unacceptable. Racism and discrimination have no place on Airbnb. We have permanently banned this host." But these incidents seem to be so widespread.
My name is Akila.
A New York-based coalition is launching this national ad campaign.
I get declined all the time on Airbnb.
This comes at a time when Airbnb's population continues to soar. There are more than 2 million listings worldwide, and over 60 million people have booked spots since it first launched in 2008. The site's popularity attracted new couple Terrence and Victoria when they were looking to book a 3-month European tour. They decided to update their profile picture.
We had become an official couple. She wanted to best represent, us when it came to trying to, stay in these people's homes.
They say it was when the couple switched their profile photo from one of Victoria alone to this photo that rejections began to trickle in.
Being a blonde white woman, this isn't something that I come across every day. So he would say to me, "I think it's because of the profile picture. Maybe you should consider taking it down." And I'm just like, no, that's definitely not it. No, I don't think so.
After suspecting that the photo was indeed the culprit, the couple claims they went on to report a number of hosts to Airbnb for alleged discrimination.
Honestly, it's not our responsibility to figure out how they can achieve that, but it's their responsibility.
The company now feeling the pressure after this man, Gregory Selden, filed a class action lawsuit against Airbnb. The Virginia user claiming a host rejected him because he's black.
What is being argued in this case is that Airbnb is functioning like a hotel. It's taking the place of a hotel. What the lawyers are arguing is that Airbnb shouldn't be allowed to engage in race discrimination or to facilitate other people engaging in race discrimination either.
Airbnb declined ABC's interview request, saying it doesn't comment on pending litigation, but provided a statement saying, "While we do not comment on pending litigation, we strongly believe that racial discrimination is unacceptable," and adding, "We prohibit content that promotes discrimination, bigotry, racism, hatred, harassment, or harm against any individual or group, and we are taking aggressive action to fight discrimination and eliminate unconscious bias in our community."
Airbnb a house in the hills or a place in Malibu.
Airbnb telling us tonight they are launching a comprehensive review on the issue. The company hiring Laura Murphy, a former head of the ACLU, to spearhead the efforts. But a recent study by Harvard Business School suggests names may also play a role. The requests made by profiles with what the researchers deemed distinctively black-sounding names got 16% fewer positive responses than names deemed white-sounding.
The internet is not a utopia. It reflects the same sorts of social biases that we see in the real world.
Omar Wasso is a professor at Princeton University focusing on race and technology. Professor Wasso argues that on-demand sites have the potential to fight discrimination.
They have the data on how people are using their service, and they could use that to surface the sorts of discrimination that is otherwise often quite invisible.
Mobile ride-sharing app Uber has actually tackled that age-old frustration people of color often experience hailing a taxi.
We are going to request our Uber.
The app's interface makes it harder for drivers to refuse passengers on the basis of their race or their destination.
So, Leslie, what information do you get?
Just your address.
Just the address to where you should arrive?
Yes.
No personal information that can hint at your race or perceived socioeconomic status based on your destination.
What's nice about what's happening on Uber is that there's no discretion for the driver or the passenger in this kind of instant matchmaking that reduces the amount of discretion where either party could discriminate against the other.
But sites like Airbnb are built on personal information, crucial information when deciding to open your home to a complete stranger.
People really want to know about you and what your interests are, what you like to do and why you're traveling. So the more information you're willing to divulge, the more likely you are to get booked on Airbnb.
Scott Shatford would know. He's an Airbnb superhost who has made hundreds of thousands renting properties on the site. He says he doesn't discriminate, but notes the screening process can be complicated.
I don't think discrimination on Airbnb is as simple as a black and white issue. Discrimination occurs for many reasons. That could be for gender, for age, for nationality. People don't want to be hosting young bachelor parties.
Airbnb does offer an option to land a rental without getting screened by the host, the Instant Book button.
That means they can be booked just like a hotel, with no pre-booking, communication, or discrimination possible.
As for Curtina Crittenden, she's moved on to other options, a home sharing site that doesn't require profile photos. But she leaves the door open for a return to Airbnb.
Even though the company has some responsibility to make sure they have a handle on discrimination, I don't blame them as a company for what's happened to me. And so I have no problem using their platform as long as they take the right steps to fix it.
For Nightline, I'm Sunny Hostin in New York.